welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello, welcome. If you're returning, hi. So today we're welcoming back Daniella. Welcome back, Daniella. You haven't been on my channel in a little while.
Thanks. It's been a hot minute.
I know, but I'm welcoming back Daniella to the channel today. So how are you?
I'm good.
What is new?
What is new? I guess I should give you guys an update on this social care career that we're all in. So I'm no longer in leaving care.
You're no longer. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Well, we compete at ASYU, so woo. But yeah, no longer in leaving care at the moment. I'm an advocate, so I work with a non-profit organisation, and I do advocacy for young people and children and care leavers. Quite a good mix of young people, and I'm loving the direct work that I'm doing. So yeah, really happy with my role at the moment, and yeah, looking forward to whatever that side of social work has to bring. So yeah.
Oh, nice. Because I know one thing we were speaking about is, you know, those of you that are maybe in university now, our lecturers didn't mention these type of roles to us. I thought it was just frontline or fostering. I didn't know there was so many other options and other roles that we could do. But you know, congratulations on the new role. It sounds good. It sounds amazing. Nice that you're progressing and not digressing.
Hallelujah, amen.
It's digressing, right? It's digressing. Like, you're not digressing.
We're not going down.
We're not going down. We're going up. So yeah, congrats to you on your new role. And I'm glad to hear that you're still in social work, still enjoying working with children, but more so enjoying direct work with children, and it's going well. Yeah,
advocating for their rights and their voice to be heard, especially in their care plans and their plans made about them. So yeah, really loving that side, because as social workers, we were saying before, you find yourself doing that already at work, but having a role where it's specifically you talking to other social workers. Have you thought about this person, what they want in their pathway plan, their decision? It's really refreshing, because I feel like we came into social work to advocate for the young people that we support. So yeah,
amazing. Right guys, so in today's video we're going to be speaking about Christianity versus social work. So essentially we're going to be speaking about our faith, and I guess what those dynamics look like in the workplace, in social work, and I guess some challenges that we face. So both me and Daniella, I guess we could actually say where we met. We met at church.
Yeah.
How long ago? 5 years ago?
I don't even know how long ago it was.
I feel like it was 2016, you know. Was it 2016?
Yeah, it had to be, because we had graduated undergrads. We had graduated from undergrad around the same time.
Yeah, I feel like it was 2016, 2017. I'll push.
Yeah, around there. I feel like it was 2016. Either 20. Yeah. Anyways, around that time. Yeah.
So yeah, me and Daniella, we met at a church that we previously used to go to. So that's kind of where our friendship developed.
And studied together.
And then we studied together at university. We both did our masters, same uni. And yeah, we've kind of just been
at the same placement.
At the same placement as well. Oh yeah, we
last placement.
100-day placement.
It's together. Like God wants us to just be together.
Yeah, but we are Christians. We believe in Jesus Christ. I know it's a taboo. Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ. We believe in Jesus, okay? And that's what we believe in, okay? So we're Christians, and me and Daniella have just been having like some conversations around. Sorry. That was a prayer. That was a prayer notification. Go on, sis.
Yeah.
That was a little prayer notification.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, don't apologize. Do you want to go and pray?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
But yeah, we've just been having conversations about, you know, our faith in the workplace, what it looks like, what some of the challenges are, and I guess that's just essentially what we're going to discuss in today's video. Yeah, so we're just going to have a bit of a discussion around that, because I do feel like Christianity, out of all of the faiths, we're not treated the same, and we're not viewed the same, we're not respected. I feel like it is, out of all of the religions, it is the one that is targeted the most, I think. I feel others may disagree, and mocked. Yeah, I feel like people don't take Christians seriously. And I guess that's because I don't think Christians in the workplace as a whole always go about things the right way. Like sometimes their heart is in a good place, but they don't always go about things in the right way.
Well, they don't know how to voice their opinion correctly without sounding judgmental. And as we know, in the social work profession, you shouldn't be judgmental, but I think sometimes the way
you come across
that things are said can make you seem like you're homophobic or you're racist, or I don't know, all these kind of different things. And I think that comes with time. As a professional, you learn how to carry yourself professionally,
how to voice your opinions
that's
in a
PCF
professional
1,
way.
isn't it? About
Professionalism.
Exactly.
Yes.
And you learn that within time, but I don't think Christians are given that time. I think a lot of Christians are kind of like signed off, told that they're being homophobic, all of that, and we'll get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into that as the video goes on. But I guess the first question I'll ask is, what is your views around being a Christian and being a social worker at the same time?
So what's my views? So I got asked this similar question at our university master's interview thing. And when they asked me that question, I was like, what are your views of being a Christian and social worker? Like, it baffled me, like, how does me being a Christian affect me being a social worker? And luckily, I'd already done some research about it. I feel like it was God that actually told me to do the research just last minute. And I started to find out that the early church in the UK, they were actually the people that built social work to what it is now. So the churches were basically like charities and organizations, Christian charities and organizations, looking after the most vulnerable people in the society. So the orphans, the widows, the children with learning disabilities, people that had issues with money, people that were struggling financially. The church was the driving force to support people. Then as the years got on, obviously social work got legalized and all these kind of acts came in, and it's more like government and law focused. However, in this country, in the UK, you can do your own research. The Christian churches and charities are the
fundamentals in what's
social work.
Started social work, basically.
And then on top of that, as Christians, you know, Christ is our foundation. You know, the character of Christ is what we try to live by. We're not perfect, but we're seeking full perfection. And Christ came to this earth to do good, to look after the vulnerable, to feed the needy, to lay hands on the sick. So you see that same ministry that he was doing, and that's what we are called as to do as Christian, but also as social workers. So I personally think that social work and Christianity fit very well. I don't think there's a separation, but actually if you're Christian and you're a social worker, your values align. There's something about...
They should align.
Well, they should align, sorry. There's something about not being judgmental. It's in social work, but it's also in Christianity. Not judging people, but loving people, loving them with the love of God, loving your neighbor, all of that kind of love thing that Christ was talking about. It's found in social work. It might not say love, but treating people with respect, not being judgmental, making sure that you advocate for people. Jesus Christ was such a good advocate. In the Bible, it says that Jesus is our advocate. So there's so many aspects of social work that definitely lines up with the core beliefs of Christianity. So that's why I have an issue when people try say that you can't be Christian or have Christian values and be a social worker, because that's not true.
You can have Christian values and be a cleaner. Like, you can be anything technically, because it's your service. And I think what it means to me is your work. So I think a lot of the time, especially like if you are a Christian or if you just know about Christianity, it's always linked to a pulpit as, okay, yeah, you're a Christian, so are you a pastor? I get that a lot, you know, like, oh, you're a Christian, you speak well, like, have you ever thought about being a pastor? Like, it's not limited. I would rather, you know, use my purpose or walk in purpose in the area of the marketplace and the world, because that's where it's needed most, as opposed to, okay, I'm just limited to a church building, because
the four walls of
you're only talking to people who know what you're talking about, kind of thing. But I think it's very important for people to remember that, especially like United Kingdom, it's not just, is it the United Kingdom as a whole, just England? But we are a Christian country, yeah. Obviously now that's changed, but if we go back historically,
yeah,
like
God save the Queen, it was there. And now it's God save the King.
God save our King.
Even in the coronation there was still elements of Christianity in it. Yeah. And it will always be there, because the coronation, even like the whole event, I was listening to the news, there's Christian elements of it, like how King David was crowned back in the day and stuff like that. So you can
find, I feel like you can find Christian elements or values, principles everywhere. Even like the very wedding that you have. I know now there's a lot of types of weddings. And a lot of variety in terms of how you can get married. You don't need this, you don't need that, you don't need a church. But traditionally, you will be married, well, technically in a tent. That's where it started. And then it will go to a church building. But there's always been that religious element that stems from Christianity as a whole. But yeah, we was even speaking about that scripture that talks about, you know, where to feed the poor, where to go to the homeless, the needy. And all of that surrounds social work. Social work is, I feel like, one of the many unique roles. I mean, maybe NHS workers as well. Yeah. But like where you get to deal with everything.
A mixture of people.
Yeah, mixture of people, ages, everything.
Mixture of problems as well. Like most roles, it's specific, like I'm working in
I'm an administrator,
and this and that. But with social work, you're dealing with someone's mental health, but you're also dealing with their family, and you're also dealing with their health, and there's just so many aspects. And the way that as a social worker you care for a young person or family in terms of every aspect, that's the way that the Lord cares about us. Do you know what I mean? The Lord cares about different aspects of our life. The Lord wants to see us do well in our health, in our family, in our education. So
that's why they say social workers, we wear many hats. So like, even for example, I was speaking to my colleague the other day, and we were speaking, you know, I was trying to advocate for my young person who's just needs a lot of support with her mental health. And I was just saying, but technically before we even go to CAMS, through the relationship we build, whether you're directly their social worker or supervising social worker from where I am, we're technically like a counsellor. And it's like, I was not arguing, but we was having a debate basically around, my manager was saying, well, I could use CBT's tools and advice and guidance in my home visits with this young person. It doesn't mean I need to be trained or it doesn't mean I have a certificate, but I can still use those things in my role. You can pull on the different tools. Yeah, it's true. I think social workers are amazing. We are, not just because I'm one, but I think social workers are amazing, and we don't get enough credit. Imagine you're dealing with all of that, and then you come home to your own family, to your own kids. To your own family. I do wonder though, like when we're married and we have children, what social work, because it's going to look very different for us. What it's going to look like at that point. Because even when I speak to like my colleagues that have children and stuff, and they told me the sacrifices they had to make, like it just makes me think, what is it going to look like at that point?
But I think every point of your life you reflect, as you know, in social work they tell you to reflect upon your own kind of profession and your development, and you reflect what's good for me during this time of my life. So this time of our lives, our roles are working out quite good, but in the next couple of years we might decide, actually, let's move to Ghana. Let's
get out of here.
Hallelujah, amen.
Let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah, it might look like a different country.
Is there social work roles in Ghana? Off topic.
There's social workers in Ghana, but it's not regulated like
it's the same with South Africa. Like, it's kind of like you do,
it's more community
based,
and that's where
okay, we're going on topic. I'm so excited. I need to get the hell out of here. I don't hate London, but I definitely feel like there's more to life.
Definitely.
And don't limit yourself. Like, even when you're speaking about the role you're doing now, we wasn't told about.
And that's the thing, because once you do your degree, do well, gain all the experience, you know, if you want to go for your ASY, you go for it. But I know so many other people that didn't do their ASYEs, and they're not in a frontline social work post, but they love the work that they do. They're in like contact centres, being like managers. They're in like
domestic violence, refugee camps.
There's so, and that's why I studied social work, because when I was looking at the different roles that I was passionate about, all of it either had social work or therapy or counselling. I said, okay, which one makes more sense for me to study, so I can have a wider pool of things that I can apply to. So don't limit yourself only to a social work post. If you do, you're just gonna be frustrated with the system and just how it is. But be open-minded, be creative, and you'd be surprised what role you will just jump into and really enjoy that you don't even want to leave. So yeah. So
question, in our experience as social workers, I say specifically because I don't want to, you know, give a generic topic. Do you think that our faith is respected?
Nope. Sorry.
That was a powerful.
No way. It's not. It's not. And it's not. Like, the amount of stories I hear about social workers, Christian social workers, being told to leave their jobs because they said that they love Jesus.
It's not funny, but it's just like, what has this world come to? What has this world come to?
Or I'm not gonna call a child that's a what, like, I don't. Should we go into it?
Let's just go into it.
Okay.
So, like, a lot of people, when they hear Christianity, the first thing is like, oh, you're a Christian, you're homophobic, and it's just like, but you're racist. And when I just said that,
ageism, what's the word that you discriminate people about their abilities? There's just so many other, you know, prejudices. Yeah, that's the word. However, for some reason, it's only homophobia and Christianity that always comes up.
Yeah.
And no one wants to talk about the racist people in the workplace. No one wants to talk about the ageism, because we were talking about sometimes coming to a workplace and because you're young, people feel like you're not capable of certain tasks because you're young. Oh, have you even had a child yet? And this is not coming from parents that you're working with or children.
This come from your colleagues.
This come from your colleagues.
That's why I told them to shut the hell up.
Let's discuss that.
Because I'm so sorry. There's a lot, like, when people, so some people have mentioned this in the comment section on my video. I look young. Like, when people meet me, they think I'm 21, 22.
Same.
Period. We look young. Black don't crack, number one. And number two, we just got their good genes. If I compare myself to my older siblings who are going to 40s, they still look young. I'm going to look young forever. I'm gonna look young forever. It's not my fault if you don't want to use the right products on your skin. It's not my fault if you don't take care of it. It's not my fault that you've got bad genes. Drink smoothies.
It's not her fault that you're not eating well.
But there's just some things that I think I've matured past.
Yeah, definitely.
That, like, when a topic comes up or when a situation comes up, I now know how to conduct myself in a way that I'm still professional, but in a way that lets you know
you can't disrespect my...
Like, for example, like, I was giving you the example of my foster carer. A previous foster carer I had, she cares for a young teenager, and this teenager is a lesbian. She's a Christian, and she's like...
So the foster carer is Christian, and the young person is lesbian.
Yeah, a lesbian. Okay, so she's part of the LGBT community. And throughout this foster carer's annual reviews, there was so much backlash against this foster carer who was caring for this young person, simply because she was a Christian. She was part of she would go Bible study. She'd probably go to church like 4 times a week.
Okay.
So she'd go Bible study. She was part of the choir. She was really, like, you know, church is something she values. And she was an active member in her church. So she helped out with a lot of stuff. And she openly, as she should, you know, was expressive about what she believes and what she doesn't believe. However, from the management side of it, it was kind of like, oh, we feel like she's homophobic in her views, and we feel like blah 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 blah. Bear in mind, this young person had lived with her for now probably going to 3 to 4 years now. She's also going to be a staying put with her. Wow. And the young person and her...
hold on, I need you to pause. Staying put is normally the young person's decision, isn't it?
It's the young person's decision.
Thank you.
So, as social workers, we're taught, listen to the voice of the young person. The young person says, luckily she's mature. She says, I understand that we have a difference in view when it comes to this topic, but this foster carer supports me, she cares for me, she loves me, I'm an active part of her family. If I bring up conversations about my relationship, she's there for me. I'm allowed to bring home a girlfriend if I choose to. There's none of that. But the only issue was the foster carer is a Christian, and she said, this is not something I agree with, but although it's not something I agree with, I care for you.
Exactly.
I'm here to support you. I mean, this young person had deteriorated mental health, like suicidal. She's now an A-star pupil, going to Cambridge, like doing phenomenally. She's going above what we would want for not even a child looked after, but a normal child. Like, she's excelling in every area. And
due to the foster carer's support.
Due to the foster carer's support, they have a good relationship.
That is a Christian.
That is a Christian, yeah. So, and it was like, I was reading, at the time I started working with her, you know, she would express it to me. And I do admit, sometimes when she would try to get her viewpoint across, it did seem a bit hostile, and she could have communicated in a better way. However, she was giving this young person everything. She had has a brilliant relationship with her. There's no issues in the home. Like her own daughter. Like her own, like, well, I mean, more of a sister kind of relationship, but there was no issues, right? And I just felt that all the professionals was targeting her. So at the time that and this is one thing you need to learn, you have your own opinion. If you're in a room and you don't say anything, you're agreeing with whatever opinions are in the room, right? I didn't agree with what was being said, and it was kind of like, and you know, when you're the social worker, it's like, can you have these discussions with her? And I said, the only thing I need to discuss with this foster carer is how to communicate better professionally, and how she can get her viewpoint across that still lets people know that she's not homophobic, and lets people know that she's still supportive of this young person and her views and her wishes, but just in the right way. However, that carer did feel that she was being attacked, as she should have rightfully felt. So I was like, actually, I'm not going with the theme of all her annual reviews, because annual reviews for foster carers, it goes with them. Their reviews go with them, and anyone can request to see, like, do you know what I mean? It goes, their report,
like a police report.
Yeah, it goes with them. So I was like, actually, and it was like, I felt like the manager at the time was trying to coerce me to have the same opinion, and I said, I don't have your opinion. Actually, I have my own opinion. I don't have my own opinion because I'm a Christian as well. I have my own opinion as well, because if someone believes and values something, who is to say that we should now say that what that person believes or what their value is wrong? She's a Christian. She says that she doesn't think something is right. She doesn't agree with a type of lifestyle. However, she does not lack in supporting this young person, and the young person and her have open conversations about it, and they're at a place of mutuality, like
meeting in the middle.
They're meeting in the middle, and there's no issue in the placement. So why is this continually being brought up year after year after year, making the foster carer feel attacked? That's how it was. And then I just said, I don't agree with this. She has her viewpoint, and I just simply wrote in the report in a way that was like, she has her viewpoint is this. During our visits, we discussed this, and this young person doesn't feel that the foster carer, although she has these beliefs and values,
a difference of opinion,
like a difference of opinion is against her, she still supports her. She's let her know she can have her partners over. She has discussions with her about this stuff. And I just think, like, sometimes it does take someone of the same faith sometimes to come in and step in and actually be
like you had to advocate for her.
I had to advocate for the foster care, and as I said, it's not because I'm a Christian as well, it's simply because it was wrong. Like, if you, but like, look at the day and age we're in now. People can marry trees, for God's sake. If you believe that that plastic bag is purple when the plastic bag is clearly white, that's what you believe. Like, it's not, do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, where do we have a middle ground? And it's like, because somebody says something or somebody believes something, why does that automatically think, like, people think, okay, I have to attack that person for what they believe? If you're allowed to believe that, why can't I believe this?
And this is what I was saying earlier in terms of, we all have a difference of opinion. If a Christian and Muslim can work together, and
a Buddhist, a spiritualist,
Hindu, someone that doesn't believe in God at all, someone that, you know, believes in, like, the universe, if all of those people can work together, don't target Christians alone, because
100%.
There's actually people that don't believe in God and they're still homophobic. Do you know?
Have you not seen the whole thing around schools and them wanting to have same-sex toilets? And majority of people that are writing are atheists. They don't actually believe in a God. However, it's always like Christians are targeted. And I'm so sorry, but I can work with anyone. And you should be able to work with anyone. Whatever religion you're from, you should be able to conduct yourself in a professional manner and still be able to have your difference of opinion, like we were saying about where we have our own biases sometimes. You should be able to put that aside and actually work with the matter at hand. What is the problem that you're there to solve? I'm not there to solve whether you believe you like trees or you like ants or you like this or you like that. I'm not there. That's not what my role is.
We're not.
And I think everyone needs to be, everyone's religion or whatever needs to be respected, especially Christianity. Like, you need to put the respect back on that. Put it back on it. Even like, I've been addressing people recently when they say, oh, Jesus Christ. And I'll be like, oh, Buddha. You can't say that. Don't say Jesus Christ then. Like, you know.
Each other's gods or whatever you want to call it. The same way I respect you and your beliefs, you also need to respect what I believe. And then this is a bigger topic, but then people always trying to just, like, for example, I mentioned Jesus Christ being the foundation. Oh, but don't you think Jesus was bi or homosexual? Because in the Bible he was very close to this one and that one. But you would never say that to a Muslim though. You would never say to a Muslim, don't you think Muhammad? And it's just like, why do you feel like you can? You can. Because you can't. It's disrespectful. It's very disrespectful. And I think Christians also need to speak up. If you see practice that's going on in the workplace and you know it's disrespectful and it's bullying, you need to let your managers know. You need to let your union know. There's Christian Concern. They're really great. With, I love Christian Concern. With providing legal support to Christian professionals. I see not just Christians as well. Not just Christians. Oh, so they do. I mean, it's a as far as I know, it's a Christian-based union. Yeah. But they don't just support. But what I'm trying to say, as in Christians in the workplace. Okay. Yeah. That. Because it's not only social workers, you hear of teachers, you hear of doctors, you hear of all these different people that are Christian and they're being targeted for what they believe. So if you find yourself in that situation, there's definitely organisations that can help you. And I guess this leads on perfectly to, like, I keep on like trying to make it generic, but no, let's talk about Christians specifically. And you know, they need to just use wisdom in the workplace. I think we see many examples of particularly NHS workers. Like, I've got a friend that's a healthcare nurse and stuff, and they're praying for their patients. Even if they give consent, you really need to use wisdom, because people can get fired over this stuff. Especially because I think with prayer, with Christians, you can literally just say anything in your prayer, and sometimes you might think you're praying for someone for example, healing, and what if it doesn't happen? And then they're not blamed. They blame the nurse, or their family hears about it, and then, you know, something, there's a case set up against you about, I don't know, when you were praying you said the person's going to get healed and they didn't. So it's stuff like that where your work is not your Sunday ministry. And what I mean by that is, if you're a pastor, if you're in ministry, that's great, but there has to be some sort of boundary. At church, because people are coming for prayer and Bible study, you can do that. At work, people are not coming for you to pray for them. But I would disagree though, because I do feel like your work, like for me, I feel like my work is my ministry in a way. However, I'll still utilize wisdom. Like, if I said to my friend, you know, like, even if people ask for something, be like, okay, this is the time. Like, I don't need to pray for you right then and there. For me to pray for you, I can still go home and pray for you. I do you know what I mean? Agree. So it's just like, using wisdom, because not everyone has good intentions. And then it's making me think as well, like, I've attended so many interviews, and when it gets to like a diversity question, they'll be like, oh, we maybe saw in your application that you're a Christian. It's like they're not asking those questions for no reason. And then it will be like, as much as they're trying to say we want to promote diversity, like there's an agenda behind it, because you're only coming with a negative lens. I think I've been to 3 interviews and it's like, oh, you're a Christian, so what do you think about homosexuality? Or how would you work with someone who's a homosexual? And it's like, why do you always link Christianity with homosexuality only? Like, it's got to the point now where it's just frustrating, and it's just like... And it's actually wrong, because I've never heard them doing it to any other religion. Any other religion. Unless we're wrong, and maybe you're... Comment below and you've had that experience. But... Everyone I've spoken to, it's all Christians that go through that. But that's why now on application form, I don't even say what race I am. I want to be surprised. I want you to think I'm some, I don't know, Spanish or no Williams, innit? My surname gives it away. Not exactly. There's Williams.
Yeah, I want you to think I'm like a Kate Middleton, and then I turn up and I'm like a Shaniqua.
I am
you know,
so
I want to
done.
be like, yeah, I caught you off guard, didn't I? Yeah, I caught you off guard, yeah. So like I stopped doing that as well because I noticed the trend, and it was like, why do I keep getting asked these questions? I work with a gay couple that are foster carers. They're doing their job, I'm doing my job.
That's it. Bob's your uncle.
Go home and I drink my tea.
The same way that we go into Tesco, we get someone's doing their job, you come in for something and get out. Like,
yeah.
I think like it's not that deep, but people make it deep. As long as you're doing your job and you're doing it with excellence as a Christian, and you're not being judgmental when you're doing anything you need to do, continue to do it.
Yeah.
Continue, and the Lord sees your work.
And just represent yourself. Represent yourself to God.
Yeah.
Literally represent yourself, because I do think that we haven't, in a lot of scenarios, we haven't been represented well.
Yeah.
And
true.
I think it's mainly because people just don't know how to communicate or express themselves in a way that I'm not attacking you, in a way that I'm just sharing my opinion. I know it's different to yours, but this is just my opinion. In a way, I feel like sometimes people communicate in a way which is a very attack mode.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, but then I do understand it, because I do always feel like we're having to fight that corner.
It's true, yeah. Because no one else is going to do it for us.
Yeah.
I don't see anyone else trying to fight for Christian social workers like that.
This is one thing I miss about working in Hackney.
Oh yeah.
This is one thing I miss about my 100-day placement, because we had such a community, and I feel like a lot of workplaces, we might have to be the ones to make that community.
It's true.
But I feel like a lot of workplaces don't have like a Christian community. I mean, like you would always see like Muslims when it's Eid and Ramadan, they're always fasting together. Everyone's always aware. You know, they do stuff together. But it's only in Hackney that I actually saw that there was a Christian community, that sometimes when someone's stressed, I've seen people actually go out and pray for someone, or go out and be like, are you okay? Do you want to check? Should I check in with you? Should we go for a walk? Like, I really miss it there. I do.
There was a group of people that would gather every day around 1 to pray in the prayer room.
Yeah.
And it was almost like, it doesn't matter if it's one person, 2 people, there would always be people in that room.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're just having a really crap day.
Yeah.
And you go in and they're singing and they're
praying. Or have lunch together. And it will be like the older social workers will be able. It's almost like that Naomi and Ruth, isn't it?
Yeah, Naomi
and Ruth relationship, like where you would have the older social workers advising us.
The younger ones.
I just miss it. I do miss what there so much.
Yeah, it was good.
Like, it was so nice. Yeah.
It was.
But if anyone feels like, you know, you may feel like, okay, I don't like some of the things we've mentioned, this is not just coming from us. This is actually within BASW, within our code of ethics, as we should all be as social workers, regardless of if you're Christian, if you're Buddhist, if you're Muslim, whatever it is. This is actually how we're supposed to be within the workplace. So within BASW Code of Ethics, it actually says social workers should recognise and respect the diversity of the communities in which they practice, taking into account individual, family, group and community differences. Social workers should identify and question their own prejudice and consider how these could be experienced as oppressive by the people with whom they are working. Social workers should demonstrate a clear commitment to anti-oppressive practice, such as proactive anti-racism and promoting the rights of people experiencing discrimination, inequality, marginalization. So it's also just being conscious of like implicit biases as well, because there's been so many times I've said stuff and then when it came out of my mouth I'll be like, what? Actually I didn't actually think about how that could impact someone else, or
how that could be translated in somebody else's head.
And it could be something so small and so innocent, but that could actually offend someone else.
It's true.
Like a few months ago, I was speaking to someone and I was saying, oh yeah, like that person's quarter caste. And they were like, what did you say? And I was like, yeah, like quarter caste, they're quarter black. And they're like, you're not meant to use that term anywhere. Sometimes it's just about educating the ignorant or updating.
And also our upbringing. I remember when I was young, I used to say half caste so many times because that's what they say in Ghana, like for mixed race people. And my mum used to say it all the time, and until I went to secondary school and someone was like, you're not allowed to say that.
Yeah, it's really bad.
And I was just like, what? And I was just like, I thought that's what you call mixed race people. Like, no, mixed race. So I had to learn that. Imagine someone didn't tell me and then now as a professional I'm still using that. Someone's going to think I'm racist or something. But it's just my...
Luckily I didn't say it at work. I said it to someone, they were like, you don't use that term anymore, you know? And I was like, it's not a term I use often to know. It's almost like... the changes in lingo and social work. Like now we say child looked after and stuff. You always got to be developing your language to make sure that your practice, like your practice is still anti-oppressive, it's anti-discriminatory. Like we always, no one is gonna get it right. We're always gonna get,
even the law is still needs to be updated. There's always changes. So yeah.
There was also something else I wanted to read within the KSS.
Oh yeah, I've got it. So the KSS, if you don't know, is the knowledge and skills for children and family social workers. They also have one for adults, but because we're more involved in children, I'll read that one. In point 9, it speaks about professional ethics, and there's a specific line I just want to quote. So it says, this is for social workers: know how to demonstrate professionalism through personal attitude and behaviors. Be able to evaluate critically the impact of one's own self-belief system on practice, taking responsibility for one's own practice and development. So in there you can also see that as a professional, as a social worker, you need to take control of how you carry yourself as a professional and how it might impact others. But we're all learning. And it reminds me of that PCF thing when it had like I don't know whether it's at the bottom or at the top, it had newly qualified.
Yes, it's the bottom up.
Yeah, sorry. So pre-qualified placement, I believe.
Social worker, advanced social worker, senior social worker.
And it should be that you're growing in all of the PCFs as you gain experience. Yeah. So that's just how. And as well, if you're dealing with something where you feel like you can't express yourself, you can't express your faith, like bring it to your managers, go to your union. If you feel like someone is being, I guess, prejudiced or towards you or because of what you believe in. Yeah, because I'm sorry, but we have the Equality Act 2010 for a reason. For a reason. Human Rights Act. Don't get me started here. The amount of acts that we have. Got too many acts. That's why the system has acts. Good one. But yeah. That's pretty much all we're going to talk about in this video. And stay tuned for our next video where we're going to speak about lone working. Being safe in the workplace. So yeah, because we ain't safe. Thank you guys for watching. And we'll see you in my next video. Bye.